Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Alex Tech as per usual, and today we're going to be building a PC during the Victorian COVID stage of emergency, round 2 COVID extremity fun times. Yeah, so basically we've been locked in our houses for like 8 months now in stage 5. Yeah, I try to build a PC during those times.
Click on Zombie Apocalypse.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in to another video. Before we go anywhere, make sure to leave a like and subscribe because I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year. I know we've only got about like a month and a half left, but yeah, definitely worth any try. Anything is possible nowadays. So this month's PC was actually based around the idea to try and get Fortnite to run on low settings for decent-ish price. Now, unfortunately, as some of you may know, by the way, I'm not Leaf ECR. Like I can actually show you my chin, like I'm not actually scared. Like this GPU is just there, so I'm actually doing something with my hands, otherwise my hands will be flying everywhere. As some of you may know, Victoria in Australia, which is where I live, the one near the city, we how can I say it, we've been in lockdown for about 5 months in stage 5. We couldn't leave our houses for only 4 reasons. Just to paint you the picture. We were locked to 5 kilometers maximum range, so you couldn't actually go outside of a 5 kilometer boundary around your house, and it just wasn't fun times at all. But yeah, I managed, and in fact, all of these deals were actually found within my 5 kilometers. Usually, when I go and find deals, I pretty much always end up on the other side of the city, where I am. You don't really find very good deals. In fact, as you will see with the prices later, I did kind of get ripped off with 1 or 2 parts. The idea for this PC was to build something during COVID, this lockdown, 5 kilometers, basically pretty bad restrictions. Now, I was either limited to AOS post and the 5 kilometers radius. Now, so that was the idea behind the PC, to just build something during COVID. So without further ado, we'll roll the montage of basically all the mods done to this PC, because there were quite a bit of mods. Then we'll go into the parts, the build, the benchmarks, and then you'll be meeting me back here talking more about this PC. So without holding you here for another 5 minutes, roll the montage. Oh yeah, okay, so now it's time for a conclusion. And well, what am I going to talk about? Well, to be completely honest, the performance was as expected. We are dealing with, a 560, not even a Ti version, just the overclocked version from Gigabyte. Yeah, I mean, it does its job, but it's just definitely not a GPU you want to have in 2020. No way you want to have it, no way you want to have this rig. This rig would just be perfect for someone who's just trying to get into esports, like Fortnite, for example, even Apex if you really try. But it's just, if you want to play any game more than Fortnite, you're going to struggle bad time with this PC. Now, I'm pretty sure we have had on the channel other cards around the same power draw, for example. We have had the 650 and we have had the 460 in other videos. I think it was the GTA 5 PC. Well, I'll flash on my screen, doesn't really matter, it's the same difference. I also do want to touch on a couple of the modifications I've actually done. For example, the DIY power supply shroud. Now, unfortunately, I did that way before I was actually going to build this PC. Now, the case wasn't actually supposed to be for this PC, it was supposed to be for another thing, and I kind of ended up losing the footage of that whole PC build, so I decided to just scrap it, make another one, and use this case for this one, because, well, it's a shitbox pretty much. So yeah, all it is just pretty much just a PVC sheet, the usual stuff I use. Just bended it at half. I gave enough space for a bit of cabling to go through and a bit of air to go through, and that was genuinely it. Just bent it and it just fits in, no issues. It's actually in by pressure, and the motherboard holds it in with the screws on the right side. And I have to admit, it looks pretty good, except that kind of did mess up on the left side. It kind of droops down a bit, but other than that, you don't really notice it. It looks pretty damn good. It does a good job of covering up the power supply on the top, which is nice. It looks good overall. We also have the DIY hard drive placement and the SSD. Big W was shut down here in Victoria because of the COVID restrictions. They closed retails and stuff. So I had to do the online click and collect. And I bought the wrong sticky tape. I mean, double-sided tape, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it was supposed to be the thick patty one, but instead I bought the basically like the just normal tape that just has double-sided sticky tape, just normal double-sided sticky tape. And yeah, it worked fine. It did its job, but it's just I just prefer the thick stuff rather than this thin stuff. It just doesn't work. I don't like it. It's perfect though for putting LEDs though, because the LEDs I actually had reused these from another PC because I already built one, and the sticky tape from it kind of had died. It wasn't sticky anymore. So I used that stuff to stick it around, and well, poor you bastard, it's done a pretty good job. That stuff ain't going anywhere. It's just staying in there. It looks pretty good as well, which is the important thing. Like, the LEDs are stuck in there; they're not going anywhere, which is really good. And also, I decided to get ripped off for the GPU. Unfortunately, that GPU was the only one in my area, and I couldn't be stuffed. Asking people on Gumtree in Western Australia to ship me stuff. Most of them just say no, they can't be stuffed. Yeah, I just buckled up $45 and called it a day. Bit of a rip-off, I know, but it does its job. The GPU runs, you can play games, it's not the end of the world. And also, with the power supply, as you probably saw at the beginning, basically this power supply, the Antec, I forgot its name, but the cables, it's an old model. It wasn't never really a popular model either way, and the cables for it just don't exist anymore. Like, no one has them in stock, nothing exists for it. There's no documentation for it either. I just don't know any of the cabling. And basically how it turns out is that it's got 5 volt and 3.3 volt on either side of the 6 pin on the top, and the middle two are ground, and the bottom two are actually 12 volt. So basically I ended up running 12 volts through the bottom ground one, and the 5 volt and the 3 volt through the top ground one. And it works fine. No shorts or nothing. Power PC turns on fine, and it works. But what I had to do was actually buy the modular cables for another power supply, still for Antec, and basically just manually soldered them up. And to be completely honest, they are flat black cables, and with the sleeving I put on, they look pretty damn nice. I quite like how it looks. So yeah, overall the PC works pretty well. The SSD makes it, of course, snappy as all hell. And even though the cooler is not, one of those fancy RGB ones, it actually still fits into the build quite nicely. And overall, I genuinely cannot complain at all. So yeah. Either way, thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I just shows you what you can do during, pandemic times, if another pandemic ever comes in the next 10 years. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I shall catch you, as always, next time.